Okay, so folks, we're here again. Today we've got the really cool looking John Connearn, who I spotted, who I met a while ago at a local music venue, the Roadhouse. He was doing a jam night and it was all really cool, and I've been following what you've been doing a little bit on and off since then, John. And one of the things I noticed, you've got your Andertons thing on there, which you've done some stuff for Andertons as well, which we'll talk about in a little while. So first of all, if you just want to tell us what you're doing, what you've been doing, what you're all about, and that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first off, thanks for having me on. I'm glad we could get this. Get this in. So my name is John Connearn, often known in guitar circles on the internet as Digital John, through Andertons, which I just happen to be wearing the merchandise right now. So I am a guitarist by trade, but quite a lot of my time is a producer. I gig, I do producing work, I make my own music, and like most people nowadays who is a working musician, do a lot of things all at the same time and try and make them all work, which is a constant juggling act, but it's fun. I like doing everything, and I often do work for a company called Neural DSP as well, which is a kind of relatively fresh brand. They haven't even been around 10 years, but they're already doing big things, and they kind of brought me on at the same time as I joined Andertons, really, and everything kind of happened very quickly and gained a lot of traction through that. Release some music, do videos and tutorials and lessons and stuff online, and just seeing where things go, really. It's all good fun.
So how long have you been playing guitar? When did you get into it all?
Good question. Started off when I was, I don't want to say I've been playing guitar since I was 3, but I've been playing guitar since I was 3.
Okay.
Mum and Dad both had guitars around the house, and they weren't musicians. They are fine with me saying that, but they kind of really enjoyed guitar recreationally, in the sense of like they would pick up a guitar in the evening and just play songs for fun, kind of in like a campfire spirit, right?
Sure.
Nothing too academic. Although Mum did like grade 8 classical just because she fancied it and all that sort of stuff, and Dad has a kind of vague understanding of music theory, and he's really quite intelligent with it. So that, and they've, most importantly, they both love it, and that brushed off on me. And naturally, I picked up a guitar when I was very young, and never really dropped it. So I did my grades and that through school, and how old am I now? 28. So I don't know, I can't do the maths. 25 years.
Yeah.
And without trying to be like too modest about it, I should be way better than that. But it's like guitar's been around as long as TV has for me. Really, from my memory. So it's like just a big part of life, and music as well. But just seeing where it goes. It's all going well so far.
So did you kick off in bands? Did you start with bands and then sort of drift into your own solo stuff? Yeah.
So started playing. Actually, going up, like growing up and going to church, just playing, like simple kind of hymn songy things. And then, when I was a teenager, joined a band, which is good fun. And I recommend everyone who's a teenager who plays an instrument join a band. It makes it so much more fun. So did the band thing from when I was like, I don't know, 13, 14 to when I was about 22, 23. Different bands, through school or whatever. And then as I left uni, around the 21 to 23 age, when you're kind of a young adult trying to fend for yourself, it's like, how do I make music? So, and make money from it as well, make it my job. So, it just became too difficult for all of us at the time, because we're all the same age. We left uni at the same time to do the band thing, because everyone needed to do different stuff. So the band eventually folded, but I still play with the guys now, in various bands or whatever projects we do, like mine. For instance, it's the same guys I was in a band with. We just don't do the band thing. It's kind of my thing now, which is great. But I kind of did the band thing, and now I'm just a kind of free agent guitarist. Yeah. So
how did you get sort of the Andertons gig and that sort of stuff? What kicked that into touch, and was it through the Neural thing?
Beats me. No, I think I got it just because I was like at the right place at the right time. I mean, I think there may have been other people up for the job, and I just got lucky. Maybe I was just, I said the right things on the right day. I don't want to say like they've made a mistake. I feel, relatively assured in the positions I've got. But with Andertons, at least, I think I just presented the right attitude. I got on well with the guys, of course. Like, we get on great, and it was very seamless joining Andertons. And at the end of the shoot, at the end of the day, it was like, if the people watching didn't like me, then that was the real kind of call for Andertons, like, you know, because it's a channel, and even if we got on great and there was chemistry in the room, if the viewers don't like me, then that's that. And, you know, I wear a silly headband and I'm young, I play digital models and all that kind of thing. So it's like, I was really nervous about that, but thankfully, you know, 99.9% of people like me. So that was great. And that was like 2021. So that's flown by now. But and then Neural DSP, I think, needed a guy at the time that I joined Andertons, and I kind of got brought on as Digital John, which is my like kind of a niche, I guess, in this world, where I was a young guy using all the digital guitar kit. And Lee gave me that name. I didn't give it myself, but it's kind of cool because I like all the electronic music anyway, and, you know, it's kind of what I'm doing at the minute. So it's worked out really nicely, actually. But yeah, Lee gave me that nickname, and I guess I was, because of Andertons' massive footprint, thrusted into the eyes of the guys at Neural, and they asked me to do some videos, and eventually joined them as, you know, their kind of in-house guitar video guy, which is great. That's such a fun gig. You know, I've seen parts of the world I never thought I'd go to, and very fortunate, really. Yeah,
that sounds cool. I was listening to some of your stuff over the last few days in anticipation of this a bit more, and I couldn't help noticing that the shift in the type of stuff, materials, particularly on Spotify, the last sort of the first few, sort of 5 or 6 tracks on Spotify, it was sort of quite mellow and you know, reasonably complex, well constructed acoustic style music, and then suddenly the most recent 2 tracks sort of completely different tack, you know, electronic, heavier guitars, much more electro sounding productions. What sort of what's made that change?
Well, I've always been into loads of music, and it's often, you know, it might be my detriment that I like and produce all these different kinds of stuff. I mean, it's all guitar for me at the end of the day, and it's all music, although the new track that came out, it's got vocals on it and stuff. And, you know, I like songs as well. I'm not just a nerdy guitarist who only listens to guitar music. That was kind of me in uni, to be honest. But I just, you know, I love vocalists and vocal melodies. But yeah, I think I really admire artists that kind of do their own thing. And even if, well, I don't know, someone like Muse have had all kinds of phases in their time musically. Yeah. Some of them, you know, don't land as much as other albums have, but that's fine. Like, you know, if anyone's ever made music listening to this, it's like doing the same thing over and over and over again just gets stale. And I'm not saying I'll go back, like I've completed acoustic now and I'll go and do the electric thing, or when I complete the electric thing, I'll do something else. It's just whatever I'm feeling like at the minute, and also whoever I'm collaborating with, and, you know, wherever life leads me at the time, like that. Yeah. Electronic tune was with a guy called N3B. He's called Ben, hence N3B backwards. And the acoustic thing, those are tracks I was sitting on for years that I created in lockdown because I could only play guitar by myself. So I was just sat at home with an acoustic, and that was the way life went. And the acoustic EP came from that. So it's just, I'm just going with the flow. And the kind of cool thing about that is my music has allowed me to kind of get in touch with different listener pools. Like if I just did the acoustic thing, then only the acoustic guitar guys would know me, or, you know, vice versa. And it's kind of nice. I kind of feel like a, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. Like, and I really enjoy that. I'm not a jack of all trades, you know. I feel like I can fake a lot of stuff quite well, but you know, it's just, I just like it all, and it just feels really colourful doing all that. So who knows where the next stuff will go? But, you know, guys like Pat Metheny, I really like. If you go on Pat Metheny's Spotify, he's done very like weirdly aggressive stuff at some points, and then gone to like the trio jazz thing, and it's like then an acoustic album, and then it's like, you know, he's very colourful and just does what he wants, and I really admire that, because I just want to, you know, without getting morbid about it, when I pop my clogs and go, I want to have left some really cool stuff behind of all sorts of stuff. So,
and I notice, I mean, the production is pretty hot, I think, really, the stuff I listen to.
Thanks.
Is that your own? Are you doing it all yourself, or
I produce all my own stuff. And I feel like a producer nowadays more than a guitarist. I'm a guitarist by trade, right? That's what people know me for. But most of my time spent is making the music in Logic. And, you know, I often don't even write with a guitar. I kind of write with the sonics of stuff in mind. I spend most of my time getting drums right. And then I guess it's because, you know, guitar's kind of second nature now. It just slots in, and you know, all of that. But I really enjoy producing. It's the most exciting thing about music for me. You know, guitar is cool. I love guitar. But I get my natural habitat is laptop open, guitar next to me or whatever, and I'm just making stuff. Like, I'll probably do it after this interview.
Yeah. No, I was really impressed. I mean, I caught some snippets on Instagram and maybe I don't know if it was TikTok. Do you do TikTok videos as well? I'm not sure.
Yeah, bits on TikTok. Yeah,
I've probably seen it somewhere, and I was just thinking, wow, the clarity and of the guitar work was really. I thought it was excellent. So.
Oh well, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, I spend a lot of time on making it right. So cheers.
Yeah, and I don't. It's difficult to. It does pass by. It can pass by really quickly, can't it? People listen to it and it's over in a few seconds. But
yeah,
sometimes if you're watching it as well, it can make a difference. That's why I quite like YouTube stuff, because I think when you're watching and listening, you get a better feel for what's going on. So
yeah.
So what's your go-to instrument sort of setup at the moment with your guitars and whatnot?
Well, actually, you can kind of see in this shot, like I've got two kind of racks at the minute, and I've recently moved, so I've got my own place now, so I've got a lot more space to have things. But honestly, I'm going like backwards in guitar choice from like all the modern stuff to like Les Pauls and Strats. I really like the kind of archetype guitars, Teles, Strats, JMs, Les Pauls, and like vintage kind of baritone things, and putting them in modern contexts. It's just fun. It's what I'm into at the minute. So yeah, I got a Les Paul recently and a Strat, and they're like the opposite ends of the spectrum guitar-wise. Like one's thin and spindly, and one's like, mid-rangey, beefy, and rocky. But between all those, I can kind of cover the bases. But I'm really into baritones at the minute. Actually, I feel like I'm quite a rhythmic player. Like I don't feel like I'm a lead soloist, like Satriani or Vai or someone like that, the 80s guitar heroes of the past and present. But I don't feel like I'm just a rhythm guy, like someone, I don't want to name any names and delegate them to just rhythm guitarists. But, there's loads of guitarists and they are like a rhythm player by, whatever. I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle, and I kind of enjoy baritones because they're like a bass guitar, but then they're like a guitar, but you can also do harmony on them. And they're this weird middle range between everything, and they're very percussive because they're lower register, and it's just so exciting to me at the minute. And they're often very difficult to make sit well in a mix because they're just muddy and stuff. And it's just a nice challenge. But I think I'm just a frustrated bass player drummer that landed on guitar. So they're kind of what I'm reaching for at the minute. Yeah.
So are you DIing, using the neural stuff, and you're DIing straight into Logic?
Yeah, going straight into a quad cortex, which is next to me right here, and then that's just going straight in. Plugins are great, but I like committing to stuff nowadays because the beauty and the dark silver lining of tech is that we have so many options, and that can be paralyzing sometimes when you're making music. I just like to make stuff and get it done and keep momentum going in a session and keep things rolling.
Yeah. What you need is a 24-track tape recorder. That's what you need.
Well,
that'll make you commit. More than anything, which is a background.
It's that mindset though. It's like, imagine everything's tape and you just got to get it done. That's what I try and do anyway. But.
Yeah. I more recently, guitars that I've bought have been, which I've been really impressed with. One was a Patrick Eggle Berlin Pro, which was really cool guitar, and not that expensive. Not particularly expensive guitars. And more recently, a Telecaster Ultra, which has got a real spanky sound to it. I'm using it with a Kemper.
Is that the 1 or 2? The Ultra 1?
The 1. The Ultra 1.
What finish? Because I've just got an Ultra 1
Texas
Strat in the Mocha Burst.
Well, that's probably similar, isn't it? It's a similar, I imagine, Texas T.
Yeah, John, probably. It's like, is this being recorded video-wise?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't know how well the camera will pick this up, but it's kind of like, it looks like a sunburst from afar, but really it's like a metallic brown sparkle. Yeah. It's really smart.
The Texas T is a bit like that. It looks kind of black initially, but then it kind of looks a very deep grey, but then it's got a little twinkle in it as well.
I love like modest kind of in details like that, but when you look at it, it's like, whoa, wow, it's really cool. But like with quite a lot of the Ultras, the kind of metal, sandblasted metal looking pickguard thing, I actually used one of the, I think Ultra 1 Telecasters on a gig. And by the end of the gig, I had like a third of a pick left because it had just shredded my picks to bits because of the way it's kind of sideways in the grain. Yes. So it has just knackered my pick. It's like playing on a sandpaper pick guard. Yeah. So the good thing about this one is that it's just standard plastic and I've got a pick at the end of playing. But that's the one thing I don't like about the Ultras. It's I guess you can't really find that out unless you play one. So.
What's your effort in promoting yourself and how how do you get into that, and what do you do about it? Do you do it yourself?
I wish I was better at promoting myself. I'm really not. I would love to be good at marketing, but I've just I've kind of just been a bit of a yes man and taken everything that comes my way. Like, not because, and I've enjoyed everything that's came my way, but it's like, I feel like that's been the best marketing strategy for me, in the sense that there's no stone unturned, and eventually, people just recognize me through things.
Yeah.
When I go to NAMM or like a guitar show or something, people are like, oh yeah, I've seen you through that and on that and on that. And I think that's just from doing everything. I can't do everything, but I always try and do it because I don't want to, have regrets of like, oh, I should have done that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I see lots of, because of some of the stuff on the marketing side that I've been looking at recently. There's lots of views on whether you should stick to one or two platforms, whether you should cover all platforms. You should be. I mean, I suppose really the general opinion is just be everywhere, because then you got more chance of being picked up on something.
Yeah, and I think spreading yourself too thin is also not good. Each of the guys I know, they have like a main platform, and this is a very 21st century kind of conversation. But my main thing really is Instagram. I'm trying to get my YouTube going a bit with videos now. I've got a proper space to do it in. That's like this year's thing that I want to really nail. But as well as just making music. But other guys, they started off on YouTube, and their Instagram is kind of the second thing. But then their TikTok is very thin on the ground, because it's like they're kind of old school. I say old school. They're like YouTube people.
Yeah.
And, TikTok is just completely foreign to them, and some of them haven't even got TikTok yet. And I feel like I'm kind of the last of the old guys, or maybe one of the first of the new kind of guitar generation. I don't really know how it's going to go, but like I feel like I am leaning towards the newer formats more than the old of social media guitarists.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of things happened recently which have made a difference to the way I approach things. One was America sort of shutting down TikTok for a short period of time, and there's so many people posting that their lives have completely ruined because of this. And you think, well, you know what? You don't want to be reliant on a platform like that, do you, for your lifestyle?
I mean, it's the same thing with like Spotify. Quite a lot of people. I mean, there is money in Spotify if you know how to play the game. Yeah. Like if you have a couple 100,000 streams, and if you're on, especially acoustic guitar, right? If you have acoustic guitar playlists where you've got very nice music that can be palatable in the background for a large audience, it's easy if you get the playlists. And once you get a couple, it's a snowball effect. But like if I know a couple of guys, if you're on those playlists, you can rake in a couple G's a month, like 10 G's, and just do playlists that are sitting away secondary in the background, and that's regardless of any videos online. But then if Spotify changes their thing, it's like then that cash is gone, and then maybe they should have put more time into Instagram. So it's like I'm just trying to make music and put it in the right places, and then whatever happens after that is cool. But like I feel like most people nowadays, they don't make music, they kind of just post videos. And music is the most valuable thing because it's an original thing. And
I saw an article recently last week about Spotify becoming a place where people are just effectively making music that Spotify sort of suggests that everyone wants to hear, rather than just making music that they want to make because they feel that'll go nowhere. So I think it's great that you're doing what you're doing, because I think your stuff is not only quite original, it's like I said, it's well done as well, it's well presented, and I think you just got to kind of stick to what you're doing rather than trying to conform to what the algorithm really wants to see or hear.
Thanks. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the people I'm a biggest fan of, someone like Pat Metheny, I'll bring him up again. I will always check his stuff out because I believe in him as like a musician, creative person, regardless of whether he's a guitarist or whatever. I just think his ethos about creating stuff is cool, and I have liked enough of his music to be like, I'll probably check this out regardless of what it is. And all my favorite artists are like that, really. And I think everyone is kind of faithful to maybe a handful of musicians, and they will listen to them regardless of what they put out, even if it doesn't hit home straight away. It might land inside 5 years later after they put it out, and it took me a long time to see that, really.
Well, that's why I opted for the website as the hub. Really, I was trying to do YouTube and a bit of Instagram and a bit of TikTok's just a fun thing for me. I just play around with it, but I went with the website idea mainly because I realised that information on the website is a lot more in my control for a start. As long as your host and everything keeps going, it remains. And also, having run it now for probably a couple of years, I look at how much material still gets hits, even though it's a year or 2 years old. Because if an artist is on that website and they become, I don't know, they have a bit of a viral video, they get popular, somebody starts searching for them, they start coming back to the website again for that material. It's still there, Yeah. And that there's a couple of bands who are seemingly are not massive. Well, they're not massive bands, but they obviously big somewhere. Somebody's searching them because I get 200-300 searches for a relatively unknown band, and I'm thinking, who's searching for this? Somebody is. And so
I think it's the good thing about the internet. It's like people can be very niche and still huge.
Yeah. Have you got time? We just want to play a couple of tracks. I just want to jump on a couple of the tracks and just have a listen. I'll slot them in. I'm going to jump onto one I heard earlier, which is Brighter.
Yep.
So I'll just play a few seconds of this. Can you hear that?
I can't, but I can imagine. Yeah.
Okay, so for a kick-off, it's a super clean guitar sound, really nice. So what is that guitar in the video, and what are you using to get that super crisp sound?
Sure. Well, thank you, first off. It is a Taylor GT, I'll get it. It's a Taylor GT11E.
Okay, nice.
811E, sorry, I should say that. Kind of very small guitar, like it's kind of hard to show on a little screen here, but it's a Grand Theatre Taylor size, so it's like it almost feels like a singer-songwriter kind of throw about in your back of the car guitar, but it sounds really, really nice. And this was the only guitar that it was the first guitar that Taylor ever sent to me, and this was back in kind of the lockdown fringe of it when the world started to open up, and I started playing it, and that track literally, it was one of those, like hippie things where people say, oh, it lived in the guitar, that kind of. Just, when you get a new bit of gear and you're excited by it, you play some new stuff, and that Brighter thing was one of the things that came from it. And I did the whole EP on that guitar and the baritone one back there. But it kind of felt like the world was getting a bit brighter after being locked down in lockdown 2.0, and just felt right. It was a really serendipitous thing. So this straight into a NT1A, which isn't a very expensive mic. It's
Rode,
often a mic that people get with their Focusrite interface. That's how I got mine. And I've got the 7B for talky stuff, but NT1A around the 12th fret, bit of the DI blended in, because these Taylors have this really nice pickup which has a bit of a mic and the kind of standard acoustic DI thing, which I'm not a massive fan of usually, but this pickup sounds great. And that blended with a mic sound for just the realism of strings and finger noises felt great. And there was a bit of processing on like removing some squeaks and EQing and making sure it's all compressed nicely, because I like I want it to sound like you're just at the fringe of the sound hole, like your head's right in front of the guitar, and you can hear the pick attack and all the string movement. It's almost like very hard to get that in real life, but it was a sound in my head, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the sound of Brighter. That's why I put it on everything, because I'm like this, it's like if I had to only release one acoustic track, it would be that, because it's just feels good.
No, it is great. It's really good. And what's your thoughts on? Are you gigging now with a band, or are you gigging your solo stuff, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so I've done a few kind of solo things. Most of it has been acoustic because it's just it's cheaper, and a few like master classes for a few education institutes or whatever where I do a band thing, in clinics, stuff like that. But I'd like to get into the whole live music thing, whilst I've still got the kind of drive to do it, and there's a bit of momentum there. So like the guys I talked about earlier, Alex and Harry, my drummer and bassist, we've got a trio thing, and all the music that I'm writing at the minute, I would love to do something with that. I mean, I've got a few tracks with them already in the bank from my last EP that I put out last year that we could do, but just want a bit more music to do, a bit more music to play really before I go out and have a giggable thing. I give a giggable project, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe like, you know, something like landing a support tour, that'd be really cool. But just getting my music in a band format is really fun. And you know, we've got at least going on, 15 years of chemistry at this point, me and those boys. So it's so easy to do once the music's made. But this year is about, you know, making the music and getting it in a room and see, you know, maybe at the end of the year some gigs will pop up. But yeah.
Do you plan to sort of release it all through yourself? Just do it, release it. You're not going down the label route, management route, or anything like that?
No, I mean, there are a few labels and kind of organizations and scenes, I think is the right way to call it, on the internet that will be cool if, you know, they championed it. But I'm not planning for that sort of stuff to land. Like I you know, my main plan is like put it out, distribute it myself, market it the way I have, and work with other musicians, like collaborate really, because that's another way to just get a bigger pool of listeners and stretch all the people I'm listening to a bit more and cast the net a bit wider than just the guitar scene. So I'm collaborating at the minute with vocalists, and vocalists I really like in the kind of electronic music scenes, and producers that I really admire, and that will hopefully kind of, not that the guitar scene is stale, but like get me out of that scene that I've, you know, done relatively well in. I'm not, you know, one of the big shots or anything, but I just want to kind of test the waters of other stuff and see where it goes. So that's my plan really with releasing it.
Sure. And so as regards doing live stuff, can you do that with just the members of the band, or have you got like a bit of a Logic backing track going just to keep it all together?
There's a bit of a backing track thing going on, but with the stuff that I'm putting out, it's very electronic sounding. I almost toyed with the idea of having like a live DJ set, but I'm playing guitar and then triggering all this cool stuff. Like I still haven't really shut that idea down because it could be quite cool. Because I love, you know, loads of people hate it. I love the kind of high fidelity light show, crazy production stuff of EDM. I think even though, you know, people, you know, go at them for just press and play or whatever and twiddling some high pass and low pass filters, even though they do way more than that, I think it'd be really cool to do like a guitar-y version of that somehow. But, you know, I like the band thing. I really like live drummers adding flair and other musicians adding interest on stage. Like those guys add so much, and we gig so often, they pull new stuff out of the bag each night, and it makes me laugh because it's just so funny. And but in like a really amazing way, I just end up laughing, and I'm like, that's so cool when it's added to something of mine, especially. And yeah, just making, you know, the live set its own thing with real organic human beings is what I like about live music. You know, one of the downsides of the whole DJ thing is like if they just play the track front to back or something, or even bands, if bands play the same song front to back and it sounds like the album, it's kind of, I would like something new to happen in the live context, because it's more than just seeing the people and breathing the same air. It's like, this is a completely new opportunity to kind of freshen it up and have it as a different thing. And it's not going to sound the same. You know, no venue is going to transfer that information 100% as well as a CD with isolated headphones. It's just not going to happen. Like, make it live, make it a bit messy, make it a show, and do something different with it. So that's why I want to do it with some real people.
What do you think about the venue scene at the moment? Because, you know, venues are hard to come by that are willing to put on artists and acts and also attract an audience as well, you know. Yeah,
I think in the UK at least it's hit and miss depending on the city you're in. I mean, it's very difficult for bands at the minute, let alone success like after you've done gigs, because bands are just getting rarer and rarer to be successful because it's so financially difficult and all the overheads of, you know, being in a band. But yeah, in terms of venues, like I think I don't want to say the good ones are still here, but like the ones that people are very faithful to and that have a real scene around them and sort of history, I think will always be about. But in the UK, at least, we have such a history of live music. I don't think they'll all shut down. At least I hope not. But that seems to be what's keeping them afloat, and their heritage and the scenes of stuff. Like quite a lot of the time, I go to cities now that I would go to before COVID, and it feels a bit barren. I think everyone's kind of felt that, and venues aren't there that were there before, which is kind of, you know, it's really sad. But some have popped up out of nowhere that are now new, you know, in the same way. So it's like, I don't know really. I mean, I've kind of been out of that scene for such a while since doing all this, and I haven't really been, you know, haven't really had my finger on the pulse, but I've just only seen from gigs I've been to. But I think it'll be good for kind of low to mid venues to start popping up and making gigging accessible for those people starting out. Because really, the only venues that are left are 500 and above sort of venues, and that's really hard to do when you're starting out as a musician. So
what I have noticed as well is quite a few localish music shops, certainly around my area, are doing quite well. They seem to be surviving quite well, and also rehearsal rooms and a few new studios have popped up here and there, which is all good, because I think that's encouraging people to get into it. And like you said earlier about getting into a band at whatever age, even, I do jam days with a gang of older people as well, and lots of people turn up, and it's popular. If you put it together and just widen that network and ask people, that they will turn up and have a go. And and like you say, it's so much better just jamming for the day with a load of people. It hasn't got to be brilliant. Just something exciting to do.
It's just spontaneous. Like, so much music nowadays, at least in my niche, is isolated and not very spontaneous. It's all planned. You've got to make a video, or you've got to film it, or you've got to make something. And a gig is, depending on the kind of gig you're doing, most of it's to track, and it's a set you've done before, and you've had the files over, WeTransfer a week before if it's an artist gig or whatever it is. It's all very planned, and like, this is what's going to happen because there's money on the line, and you want to keep the gig and you don't want to do wrong. But the good thing about jam nights and stuff like that, or just any spontaneous live music, is it's a thing that isn't really done much anymore, and you can kind of see it in people's guitar playing. I felt it in mine when I was like, out of COVID. I was like, oh man, I haven't had to improvise in front of people for a while. This is revealing. It's a good thing to do,
So I'm going to flick over to the first track on here now, OK, which I assume is probably your latest track, is it?
Yeah, that's the collab with N3B.
Okay, I'll fire that up.
I've got no more been torn apart. I don't think I'll be okay. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. I'll be. I've lost the war. It cost much more. I don't think I'll be okay. I'll
Much
be
more electronic.
okay. I'll be okay. I'll be. I've got.
Okay, so vastly different to the acoustic track, as we said earlier. So there's a lot of, in the video, there's a lot of guitar playing going on, but I don't hear it as guitar as such. So is that what's going on with the whole guitar synth electronic trotting? Is that what you're doing? What's going on?
Yeah, so depending on, sorry, by nature of the kind of this interview, I couldn't hear what part you were kind of playing.
Just from the beginning for about the first 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah. So did you get to the kind of riffy section, or was it still vocals?
Yes, I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, so quite a lot of that is guitar manipulated in Logic, distorted, saturated, messed up, and then, digitally manipulated, but it starts off as a guitar. So in the video, I was like, okay, there isn't actually much guitar until, I don't know, 45 seconds to it. I was like, what am I going to do? So, by nature of the video, I just had to play some chords that I would play if I did it live. That's the thing about, going back to the earlier thing, like with I want to play it in a band, that's something that would be new in the live context. It would be banded up and almost live elements on top. So that's what I was kind of doing for the video. But loads of that is guitar, and it's processed to make it sound not like a guitar, which is a weird way of working. But guitars are hard to elbow into music. Like, it's very obvious when guitars are just sitting on top of a different style, and trying to get them integrated is what I've really enjoyed about producing, and trying to make it almost like take it from a sound design perspective of like, this is a really messy, distorted thing. How am I going to make it sound good with loads of other synths going on? And guitars are really annoying actually to mix, especially distorted ones. They're hissy and horrible and all of that. So
well, they both sound great tracks, and as does all the other stuff, So I'm interested to hear what what you're going to come out with next, really. So I'll be following it with interest, let's say.
Cheers. Yeah, loads of electronic stuff, some very chill stuff. Like, again, both ends of the spectrum. But yeah, man, it's just I've got too much, and I need a manager really to like say, no, do this next, and then do that thing, and then it will be a good plan. But I'm just like an excited puppy with music quite a lot of the time. Like, yeah, I'll do that, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And then just try and get it out in a relatively coherent order.
Yeah. Well, so is it your full-time gig now, music? Is that?
Yeah, I used to be I haven't actually had a job that isn't music related. Like, you know, I lived at home through uni, so I could save a bit of money, and thankfully got a scholarship because I tried really hard at school and A levels. I've always been quite conscientious about stuff, so I left uni and went straight into being a teacher, really, whilst doing the band at the time before it folded. And then I was like did teaching for a bit, gigged, and then a couple of years back couldn't do teaching anymore just because everything got so busy. So I'm going to try and do this music thing until I can't anymore.
Yeah.
And
No, well, it's been great talking to you, John. I really appreciate you giving us some of your time. I know you are very busy, and I think everyone will be really interested in what you've got to say and what you've got coming up.
Great. Yeah, well, I hope everyone's enjoyed this, and thank you, Tim. It's been fun.
No problem. We'll catch up with you soon, hopefully. And are you visiting the Roadhouse again anytime soon?
Yeah, it's down the road for me, really. So, and there's a great curry house next door that's really good. So I need to go there again at least. But yeah,
sure thing. If you're heading up there, let me know, because it's only up the road for me too.
Nice.
And we'll catch up. Okay.
Yeah, great.
All right, buddy. I'll wish you all the best, and I'll keep an eye on what you're doing. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Anytime.
No worries. Cheers, John.